way.
Yeah. How are you feeling right now, physically? Other than tired, maybe?
Yeah, just tired. School just started back today, so I'm still doing some work. But other than that, tired, but man, you got to get back to work. So I'm feeling good, as always.
How about that thigh injury? Kind of how did that come about? And then where do you feel you are with that right now?
It came about when we played Seton Hall, like a little bit, like towards the end of the game. I started feeling it, but my adrenaline allowed me to play through it. And it started kind of getting worse, but it wasn't nothing really serious. But now it's starting to get better. Been resting it more, been stretching more, just been taking care of it.
Between point guard and shooting guard, do you like one more than the other, or are you whatever? You'll play whatever?
I'll play whatever. I just want to be on the floor. I don't care, 1 through 5. If I got to play it, then I'll play it.
What's some of the, after you guys looked at the film from Florida, what were some of the things that maybe stood out to you, positive or negative?
Positively, we played good defense. When we lost against TCU, the only thing that really killed us was them getting second chance points. So that was really the 2 takeaways.
How do you feel about, obviously the shooting wasn't great against TCU, but having a performance like that earlier in the year rather than later, knowing like what you kind of need to do defensively to account for that?
Yeah, of course. No team in the NCAA depend their season on going undefeated. So we'd rather lose now. So when it really matters down the line, we know we can work on what we got to do to win, so we don't have to be in that situation again.
So do you feel like you guys were getting good shots? They just weren't falling. It was just one of those days where it just didn't end up happening.
Yeah, it was just one of those days on the road. Some days they might fall, some days they might not fall, and that day they wouldn't fall.
So is that why they were able to kind of get you to play at their pace? Obviously you guys didn't score the normal points. Did they kind of win the tempo part?
I wouldn't say really they won the tempo part. It was just a matter of they was hitting shots and we just wasn't hitting shots. So it was basically, and they was also getting offensive rebounds and getting second chance points, and we wasn't. So.
What do you think some of the younger guys on this team learned from that tournament experience?
A lot, like the pace of the game, the physicality, the crowd, the noise, the atmosphere. Just the same things I learned my freshman year.
You like the way Aaron's playing right now?
Oh yeah, aggressive, physical, attacking, playing great defense, doing everything we need him to do for us to win.
What are you seeing from Georgia Tech playing them on Tuesday, tomorrow?
Only watched a few things of film, but we'll watch more today. I'll watch more today by myself, but we'll see tomorrow how we looking. But I'm pretty positive that we're gonna come out and be way better than what we was against TCU.
So you've been through the Big Ten gauntlet. Patrick has, Chris has. I know again some of the shots weren't falling. It's just pretty much back to business as usual. There's really no hangover effect from that. Just pretty much get back and accept it was one of those days.
Yeah, of course. Like yesterday, put up shots. We always some games you're gonna miss shots, some games you're gonna make shots. So just erase the loss and then come back better, improve what you got to improve on, and just make sure the team stay together and come back stronger.
Thanks, Don.
How do you think you're playing right now? You look like you were very aggressive down there, and when your jump shot was falling, it looks like your whole game was working pretty well.
I've just been working on my game consistently, just staying in the gym as much as I can, just going out there doing what I need to do, whether that's scoring, being a leader, or if that's setting up teammates and just, being a leader on and off the court and doing what we need to do to come out with the win.
But when you're making those jumpers, mid-range and threes, how much better does that make your game all around?
I feel like with me and also a lot of other players, that just give you a boost of confidence, just everything's most of your shots falling. That just reflects on the defensive end, offensive end, and just gives you a boost of confidence going into the next game.
Just going back and look at the film defensively, it seems like you guys had pretty good half-court defense against TCU. It was just a lot of points off turnover, second chance points. Is that kind of how you assessed it?
Yes, I would just say as far as our defense was pretty good. It's getting better as the year going on. We've been working on that as a team, but just going into the next few games, us as a team, me as a point guard, just gotta take care of the ball more. So just looking forward to going into the next game. Just gonna look to make that a key asset.
Coach talked about the wrist injury that you had in the spring and how it really limited you. Just how would you describe how you were able to kind of rehab that through the summer and maybe how you're feeling right now?
I would say my wrist is feeling pretty much better. I got operation back in last spring. So going into the season, I'm feeling pretty healthy. Wrist is feeling well, and yeah, I'm just looking forward to the rest of the season.
What have you seen from Georgia Tech? I don't know how much scouting you've done playing them tomorrow night here.
We've seen that they're a pretty tough team. You know, they just came off a good win last game, and as you
Yeah, no, definitely too many turnovers, 100%. And then second chance points, like you said, that was another big one. Those are the two biggest things, I think. In the half court, I feel like we've made steps from bad. I think we're better than last year. You know, more experienced team, guys that are coming back. You know, defensive assignments become easier, rotations become easier. You're used to the lineups you're playing with. We have a lineup that can switch a lot, so that helps. Obviously, with Lampkin in the middle there, he makes it tougher. You know, it's a big dude. But I do think, you know, watching the film back, I think we had a lot of good possessions, but ultimately it came down to securing the rebound, and that's just something we didn't do. Like against Clemson, I don't know. I think we out-rebounded by like 15.
Yeah.
And that's a big team too. And then TCU, we just didn't have that same pop, and that's on us. I mean, there's no other way to put it. So we'll be better with that because we know it's a huge key for us. I mean, when we dominate the glass and don't turn the ball over, we're gonna win most of the time.
Do you think you guys have to score a lot of points to win games? I know tempo-wise it looked like they kind of kept the score down. But you guys have shown in the past you can win those games too.
Yeah, no, I think we can win the ugly games too. I think I mean, it goes without saying scoring helps, and normally we're gonna be like, I think we will be one of the higher scoring offenses, a really high efficiency on offense. But bottom line is we didn't make shots in Florida as a whole. We didn't make shots against Clemson, won that one ugly, which helped, and then we didn't make shots against TCU, and they got us. You know, in that stretch where they went on that huge run in the second half, it's a lot of missed shots. I feel like we were getting some pretty good shots, but again, that's where it goes back to turnovers. Even if we're getting good shots, we got a chance to get them back on the glass, which we did a lot better job of in the second half against TCU. But when you're turning it over, there's no margin for error there, and that's why 15 is way out of character for us, and we got to be better with that, and I think we will. I think that's I'm chalking that up as kind of an anomaly for the year.
I was going to say that's got to be the most frustrating part of that is you did make those turnovers and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
The way you guys play.
No, exactly. It was looking back at that game, because even in the first half, like we had so many uncharacteristic turnovers, we were still only down 2. So, like, I mean, if you take the turnovers away, we really did play pretty well in the first half, minus the start, which needs to be better. But I mean, we got back in it, and we're right there. But then we couldn't get over the hump because we'd get a stop and we'd get some breakaways, but then we'd like make a weird turnover that we normally don't do. And I mean, I can count like all the high turnover games in my career. I can remember like because they're so. It just doesn't feel right. You're missing out on so many empty possessions. You're missing out on, and so I think like in that game, and credit to TCU, they cranked up the pressure. But I do think a lot of them were also kind of unforced errors that were, just lapses on our part. And those are things that you can correct and adjust, and I think we will. Early season turnover numbers are usually higher earlier in the season for around the country. That's just the bottom line. So, I don't see it being a problem for us moving on at all.
Thanks, John.
Patrick, struggled in the second game. Had a great first game. I think might be close to a career high in points. Chris didn't shoot well, but they've been around the block. They're experienced. Is it one of those things where do you even say anything to them, or do you just know that they're going to be able to come back stronger than just based on the performances?
Yeah, no, I'll say something to them. Just like just see where their head's at. Like I won't be like, hey, I know you sucked, but be better. Like I'm not going to say that, but I'll check in on them, like see where their head's at. Make sure, like, how you feeling? Patrick, like, make sure he's still confident. Chris, like, make sure everything's good. And for the most part, it's always going to be. And I'm not talking about just after last game. Yeah. Just as a whole. Like I'll check in and be like, how you feeling? Where's your head? Still confident? Great. Move on. Won't even say a word. You get a response like, okay, now you open the casket, and that's when you really dig deep and get into it.
Sure.
And that's when I'll try to gas them up a little bit and make sure they're recovering the way that they should be. Because they both feel like they saw some defensive coverages that, like Patrick in the first game played really well, moving without the ball. I feel like he kind of ran out of gas in that second game. Like he did not have that same energy and pop that he did in the first game, running up and down the court. And
sure.
Chris, I think, again, normally he's going to shoot better than 4 for 17, and I don't even know what he was against TCU, but I know it wasn't good. He's gonna be better than that almost every game the rest of the year. I would feel a pretty safe bet on that. So I don't think it's anything to read into, and I'm not gonna harp on him with it. I'm just gonna let them play their game. You know, at this point, their experience, like you said, treat them like pros, move on, next game mentality. Not anything to worry about too much.
Ulis and Bowen seem to really both be emerging. How would you evaluate where they've come?
Yeah, no, they both were great. And I mean, Sante really pushes the ball, and it's fun to play with him because he's always in attack mode. And you know, I try to tell like he's learning so fast every single day, and I think that's what's so good to see with him is he's just picking things up at such a speed. Like you know, even you look at games or the game before, like I feel like he's getting better every single play, every half he's picking things up. And so I think with guys like that, you almost want to get out of the way and let them learn on themselves. Like just let them be. And AU, I think he's just becoming a much more confident player. And you know, I don't know if that's because he's getting more significant minutes now. I don't know if he's playing better in practice, which he is. Like he always has been a good practice player. I don't know what it is that clicked for him in his head, but he's just really confident and he's really playing well. And we know that, so we're gonna ride with him and feed him the ball, trust him as our point guard, and just kind of keep
real game experience. I think I'm starting to get used to it a lot. So I think as I continue to adjust to the college level style, my game will continue to improve, as I think it has been.
Is it a bigger adjustment offensively or defensively for you at this stage?
I mean, both. Everyone's athletic, everyone's fast, everyone can jump high. Most people can shoot. So defensively, it's there, and offensively, people are just as quick as me. So you got to think smarter and think plays through before you even do them. So both sides of the ball, to be honest. But I think it's coming along very well.
What have you learned about yourself?
About myself. I mean, I think I was in a pretty good place coming into here. So I guess just adjusting to the style, like I said. But I think me personally, I was in a good place preparing to get to this level of play. So I think I'm doing just good, and I think I'll continue to improve.
Talking to people around you, you're not a guy that lacks confidence ever, but it seems like when you went in Florida, it seems like you really kind of took that next step. Is that kind of how what your takeaway is from the games in Florida, that you've already started to take those next steps?
Yeah, and I mean, I kind of have to. Like, my number gets called on, I got to be ready to play. So I think I got called on a lot in Florida, and I was ready to perform. So I think as the season goes on and as I get a bigger role, I'll continue to increase my play as well.
I mean, it seems like you guys are kind of full steam ahead, but how, I guess for you, experiencing your first college loss, how has that transition gone from, okay, we lost that game, but how do we regroup to go beat Georgia Tech?
It's quick. It's a quick flip. You know, we played, Saturday and got back Saturday night, and then we played Tuesday. So, I mean, I can't really think about that loss. I think I kind of put it behind me already. But it was we handled it maturely, I think. No one pointed fingers. We know what we have to do going into the game tomorrow, so I think we're prepared for it.
Defensively, it seems like you guys have court-wise, even against TCU, I think, were pretty solid. I think it was mostly the turnovers, second chance points. Is that kind of what your assessment was of you guys defensively? It was just a lot of those second chance points?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've been playing great defense this year, to be honest. I mean, they got a lot of second chance points, like you said, a lot of rebounding. So I think we definitely have to rebound the ball, kind of gang rebound a little more. But other than that, I think we play solid defense. And I think we've been playing solid defense even in the games before as well.
Connor said he's not been surprised by how fast you've picked up things, but he's been very impressed with like your ability to read scouting reports and pick up the college game. I guess what's kind of allowed you to, transition so well from high-level high school to the Big Ten?
I'd say just taking my time, to be honest, not trying to rush things, understanding that I'm not going to have everything right away. So just taking my time, learning how to get the bulk of the scouting report, even if I don't remember the entire thing, getting the important things, what I have to do against certain guys, that type of thing. So just taking my time, understanding that it's a process, not a sprint. So everything gonna take time before I fully grasp everything.
How big of a role has Connor played in helping you along with all the stuff you're learning?
He's been a big help. As you guys know, he's a leader out there on the floor. So anything I don't know, he's been here for a while, so he usually knows. So he's always there for me to call on or ask what I have to do in certain situations, and he's pretty good at it. So he's been very helpful.
feel like you can read scattering reports and prepare, but kind of once you get into the flow of the game, it's just the game. Have you found it easy for you to remember the important things on the scattering report, but also just kind of transition and play what the game's kind of giving you?
Yeah, I'd definitely say it's pretty easy. I mean, obviously you got to remember key things, mainly on defense, I'd say, just guarding specific people, what we have to do against certain rotations. But at the end of the day, you got to go out there and play basketball, and I think that's what I do best. So, I mean, I do remember the key things, but at the end of the day, I'm just out there playing basketball.